Not exactly hidden. He waits with only a touch of trepidation. While he may not still be the best with people, he's certainly capable of diplomacy. The problem is, though, that the target in question already has formed a fairly unflattering opinion of him, and he needs to either shock her enough to get her to rethink it or slip some information past her defenses. Which is why he's in civilian wear, waiting in the hospital of one Naomi Fleetfoot. The rabbi's was a very powerful warrior and had damn near taken a chunk out of him, thank God for armor. As he waits for the woman he nearly broke in half to recover enough to talk, he both goes over what he knows of her and mentally maps out the hospital with axiom sensing. He's reasonably sure that if a fight breaks out he can repair just about anything, but he'd really rather not have to. People are here to heal after all, and a massive battle is generally counterproductive to such things, which leads him to pondering about how things are going to work when Miss Fleetfoot awakens. She's been in several tournament scenes after being a member of several boarding actions on nearby pirate raids. The woman is a veteran older than his grandmother and honestly should have been more suspicious when dealing with people. She had no medals of honor but a spotless service record. She was well known as an absolute whirlwind in a fight, which explains why he had such a hard time with her. Still, he had won. Mostly because he had showed up expecting a war, and the only reason he didn't have the helmet on from the word go was so that he wouldn't tip his hand to the sickos and psychos he was there to attack. His contemplation is done, and to calm down he pulls out his wallet with an unfolding sleeve full of pictures of his adorable little girls and beloved Miro Noir. To think that something so wonderful had happened to him. The more cynical side of him said it couldn't last and was already mostly fake, that he was being an idiot, that he was being overly attached, that things would go wrong at any moment. He smothers those feelings with the passion of a serial killer with a pillow. He's happy. He's in a wonderful place in his life and he's going to work to make it better, not worse, better. The moaning from the bed makes him look up. Seems like it's showtime. He turns on the view screen in the room. It's already turned to channel 43. The endlessly looping report of what's going on in The Supple Satisfaction. As this is an enormously important story, the news of the Supple Satisfaction and its destruction is going to be playing on repeat for the entirety of the day. Channel 43 does, however, warn all viewers that the subject matter is at best disturbing and can induce emotional stress. That's one way of putting it. Vernon notes out loud. As expected, his own voice galvanizes Naomi into waking up nicely, and she all but rips off the retaining headband. He simply holds out a picture of his daughters. Be honest, the boys say my daughters are identical, but I can tell them apart easily. Are they just mocking me, or do I have the father's eye? You, she exclaims. Me, he answers. Looks like plan A just went to shit. Pity. His girls always make him feel better. Ah well, less he has to share then. Naomi is out of the covers and pouncing on him in less than a heartbeat. Yep, still a useful idiot. Plan B then. She manages to get 2 lighting fast punches in before he warps them both into the bright forest, and she rolls away as they're both suddenly on a mushroom cap. She gets into a stance, rocks in her hands and ready to throw them or bash his head in, but he simply points to the right. She only glances that way at first. Then she pauses and takes a second look, then a third. She comes out of her fighting stance entirely when she realizes that millions of children are just a small distance away, almost universally napping and being kept warm by an unnaturally hot night and soothed by the glowing fungus as a nightlight. Are you ready to listen now? He asks, just soft enough for the large-eared woman to hear him, and she glances at him before looking back. Vernon will admit the scene is vaguely surreal. The boys are sleeping together in little congregations in a borderline cuddle pile. Tiptoeing between them are numerous police officers on watch, and more women are being brought in by men, shown the way to a child that they inevitably wake up and are then greeted by a cry of mom, mother, or mommy. "What's going on?" Naomi mutters. "You were tricked. A group of child traffickers convinced you that they were running an orphanage rather than a brothel, and you damn near gored me for helping mount a rescue for the poor little guys." Vernon explains, and she slowly turns to stare at him in horror. "That it? Don't you try to confuse me with—" Naomi starts to protest, and Vernon steps over and puts a hand over her mouth with a finger to his lips. He then lets go and points as the large figure of a Lopin is led between the piles of sleeping boys, and to one in particular. She nuzzles him gently and is greeted with a bleary "Mom, Mom," before a night-black Pancero's boy all but pounces onto her face. "Confuse you with what? A little boy recognizing his mother on sight. Weren't you supposedly defending orphans? Children without mothers?" Vernon asks, and Naomi looks confused. "But I was there. I saw them. They were well taken care of and happy. That's not what happens in a brothel for children. It is if they want to put on a show to trick investors or useful idiots, which I'm afraid you fell into the category of. They tricked you and made you protect a house of pedophilia." "I never hurt a child in my life," she protests. "Not directly, no," Vernon says with a nod. "Not at all, you degenerate filth," she snarls at him. "Filth, am I? For what? I've helped rescue these children from the people you were protecting. You're not the hero here," he tells her, and her eyes narrow dangerously. He can see in her axiom presence that she's about to attack. "But you can be." The 4 words hit her nearly as hard as the control bar did. He had to get that timing just right, otherwise it wouldn't have worked. "What are you talking about?" she demands. "Simple. You want to protect children so badly? Orphans need a bodyguard? Fine. There are actual orphans in this large mass of children. Some of them weren't children when they were kidnapped and then forcibly and improperly rejuvenated. Oh no. Some were even fathers themselves. Entire lives and people have been erased to satisfy the sick, sadistic urges of a small group of powerful women. And now we have to clean up the mess. This includes healing the children and helping them out of the darkness. And for that they're going to need to be safe, and for that they need a dedicated guardian." "Are you offering me a job?" she asks incredulously. "No, not at all." Vernon answers and confuses her even further. "I'm trying to explain that a new job opening is soon to be announced and you'd be a good fit." "What?" "As I said, a lot of these children are actually orphans, so they need an orphanage to take care of them until they're of age or until they're adopted. We already more or less have a grand matron, Magikemka, also known as Alara Salm the Younger." "The missing heiress? What is going on?" "A lot, okay?" "A lot is going on all at once. This is a busy intersection of all sorts of different people meeting all at once. Anyways, Magi wants to open up an orphanage to take care of the children. But even if only a fraction of these children are actually orphans, it's still way too many for one woman. You want to make up for fighting on the wrong side? Fight on the right one. Help take care of and protect the children." "But you were so eager to attack me in order to protect children. You even gave me a big old warning about not wanting to kill men to do it, but went on the offense when I refused to back down. So where did that fire go? Did I beat it out of you? Are you beaten and done after one loss? Or are you going to pick yourself up and do the right thing as you should have earlier?" He asks her, and she glares daggers at him before deflating as she hears another mother find her child and outright starts sobbing about how much she missed him. "Was I really on the wrong side?" she asks, looking out over the children. "There's no gentle way to say this, but yes, I'm afraid you were," Vernon confirms. "But I saw them. They were happy and well taken care for. How could I have missed—" Naomi begins to bemoan before stopping and thinking. "Wait, I only ever went there via appointment before. I didn't want to frighten or interfere with the healing of the children, so I played by the rules. It would have given them plenty of time to set things up to look nice and neat and proper. Vernon answers. You're not the only one they fooled like this, but you were the most proactive and aggressive. You weren't stopping for anything short of a lethal wound, and even then there was no quit in you. Thank you? She asks, and he chuckles. I'm already married, so don't worry about that. But when it comes to the children, if you put even half that same passion and energy into helping care for them, then things are going to be all right. She's just staring at him at this point. He has her locked down and on his side, but he also has her massively confused and utterly off balance. Which was the point. When someone has righteous indignation on their side, you need them off the mindset of seeing you as nothing more than just a terrible enemy. So, Naomi tries to begin as she's completely off balance and trying to internalize everything. Where are we? Welcome to the Bright Forest, a massive axiom life form recently born on Lilb Tulub. It's somewhat appropriate that the children are here as it's a child in many ways itself, albeit a child who has been gifted incredible knowledge and immense axiom abilities. Vernon says, gesturing to the massive mushrooms all around them. And you? She asks. I am Specialist Vernon Shea, a soldier of the Undaunted, one of the premier founders of technomancy, a new axiom art, and a sorcerer of both the dark forest of Serbo and now the bright forest of Lilb Tulub. But most importantly, he explains before pulling out his wallet with the pictures, I'm the husband of this beautiful woman and the father of these adorable little girls. Look at them. It's a picture of perfection, isn't it? I lost a fight with a lovesick fool? She asks incredulously. What does it matter where I get my joy from so long as I do? After all, it gives me all the more reason to fight and win if I have something I adore with every fiber of my being waiting for me to come home. Vernon replies with a smile, and she just stares at him. Completely lovesick and damn near killed me in single battle. Don't feel bad. I did say I'm a founder of technomancy, yes? It's a brutally powerful and precise style of axiom use. Trust me, if you face a technomancer, it takes far better than you to win. Oh yes? She asks. He points at a nearby mushroom, and it starts to sway before collapsing. It bursts when it hits the ground, and noxious slop spreads out and starts to eat its way into the ground. That is one of the first tricks of my branch. I could have done that to your blood rather than the water in a mushroom easily. It's an instant kill condition. Then why didn't you? I was as much a distraction as I was on guard. If you were instantly killed, I had no idea what would come next, but I knew I had your attention, so I kept it on me. That whole fight was a distraction. Don't feel bad. Facing a sorcerer is a nightmare. Facing an undaunted is a nightmare. Facing a technomancer is a nightmare. I'm a nightmare cubed. There's no shame in losing. She just stares at him. By the way, I think we should head back to hospital. The night is warm here, but your bottom is sticking out.